LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, this is very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
It was called, so dramatically, The Decision. And for the longest of time as this season began, we assumed it was simply the answer to where LeBron James would be taking his talents. Today, as this strangest of NBA seasons shudders to a close, it might instead have stood for something like this. We have the doorknob to the future in our hand. Who do we decide to allow through? This epic journey that began with that overblown evening 9 months ago, we mocked the king for his callow theatrics, and we laughed when the chosen ones called the Heat began the season like a bunch of guys in a Paris roundabout, this way and that, never in tandem. This adventure that began as nearly every season had for a decade, with the Lakers and the Spurs and the Celtics dominating another bewildered flock.
Alley-oop to Brown. Oh, threw it behind him and still knocked it down.
This campaign that ignored the Bulls and the Mavericks, the Grizzlies, the Hawks and the Thunder for most of its run. But as old legs grew weary and arms grew short, the overlooked young men of the league began to take their rightful, if shocking, place.
Head for Wade. There he goes. Oh! The House of Highlights. Wow.
When James took his gifts to Miami, so did the talented young Chris Bosh, and they joined Dwayne Wade in a satin shorts version of the Three Musketeers, averaging just 27 years of age. Their second-round playoff counterpart, the Boston Celtics, which had used that same three-superstar formula so successfully for years, trotted out Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, and Kevin Garnett, who averaged 35 years. Case closed, dramatically. The San Antonio Spurs, with the aging Tim Duncan at the helm, found themselves as the prohibitive first seed against a lowly Memphis team. And for only the fourth time in the 28 years of this current playoff system, last didn't just beat first, but humbled them.
The Grizzlies, for the first time in franchise history, are in the second round of the NBA playoffs.
At least the Lakers, who went 15-1 after the All-Star break and seemed ready for a three-peat, made it to the second round. But they're swept away and embarrassed in Phil Jackson's coaching finale by the Dallas Mavericks, who weren't the youngest team in the playoffs, but perhaps the hungriest. So there we stood, without Garnett, or Shaq, Kobe, or Duncan, left in the playoffs for the first time in what seemed like decades. But instead of weeping over the demise of the grand old stars, the NBA celebrated a wealth of baby boomers. The Randolphs and Conleys, the Durants and Westbrooks, the Roses and Noahs, the Jameses and Bosches and Wades, and the Nowitzkis and Kids and Terrys. Oh wait, does that trio belong to this group? What do you think now? For all of the youth, it was the geriatric Mavericks who turned away the destined and captured their first NBA championship, delaying the so-called destiny of South Florida's chosen three, and delivering Dirk Nowitzki to his long-awaited place at the top of the NBA world. So we have taken the door by its knob and swung it wide open, allowing a marvelous, previously unregarded collection of young stars their due at last. It is what the league should have been all about these years, a good decision after all.